good? What's good? BFV back in the building to hit you with another one too. This is going to be a quick one. I'm going to be in and out like the burger spot. Wanted to break down this card and some quick picks, just mainly from the main card, even though it's going to be a long night. Should be some great undercard fights on there. Y'all can go ahead and check that out on your own, but I'm going to definitely tap into this main card. Obviously, the main event also included. There's an added fight on here. This guy, Zaeb. I ain't even gonna try to pronounce his last name, against Michael Bolin. I think this is a fill-in fight based on the fact that they lost Tim Tszyu on this card. So I don't know who these two dudes is. There actually aren't even any numbers out for this particular fight. So we're gonna jump right into Andy Cruz and Antonio Moran. This should be probably Cruz's stiffest test as a professional boxer right now. Moran has been in there with a couple names, hasn't come out on the better end of those fights, but he should test the young fighter only 4 or 5 fights in. But at the same time, Cruz does have the skills to go ahead and win this fight. So if I'm picking this one, I'm going to go ahead and take Cruz. And I actually like Cruz to win by knockout. Probably late, maybe 8th, 9th round, something like that. That's my pick. Next fight, we're going to go ahead and talk about David Morrell going up against Ridayh. Ridayh is a solid professional, been in there with a couple names. Again, one of those guys that going to test you, you know what I mean? Morrell hasn't been in the ring consistently, but he, for some reason, he just keeps handling his business as he's in there. And he's a guy still doesn't have like the 15, 16, 17 fight resume just yet, but he's getting up there. He keeps padding his stats. He's currently a title holder, so I mean, you got to give him that respect, you know what I'm saying? So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pick Morrell again by knockout. I think this one should come a little earlier, you know what I mean? You can mix these picks up and follow me and tail me on these picks if you like, but I like this one early, mid, you know, 4th, maybe 5th round, mid fight, I would say. Not too early, not 2nd round or anything like that. I think Ridayh is a veteran enough that he can avoid the early knockout, but Morrell is very explosive and it could happen. So if you wanted to, you know, skip picking the rounds like I'm gonna try to do and really chase a good bag this weekend, just go ahead and pick the knockout, you know what I'm saying? So the next fight we're gonna talk about, obviously, is gonna be some heavyweights. We got Jared Anderson and we got Martin Bakole. This one is definitely probably gonna be fight of the night. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think this one could be fight of the night. I do think we're gonna see some knockdowns, but I actually think this one might make it the distance. Martin Bakole is a very tough, solid African/British dude. So Jared Anderson has been in there with some guys that a little bit soft. You know what I mean? Some butter type of European fighters that he's been fighting. An Italian guy, and obviously this last dude, I think it was a Russian dude. But they tabletop butter soft, man. You know what I'm talking about? So this is definitely going to be his hardest test. If you peep that face off, they look like they ready for business. That's why I think this could still fight of the night, and that's no cap to the main event that we're going to talk about here soon. But I think this one could still fight of the night. But I actually sneakily like this one go the distance. Jared Anderson definitely needs the rounds. Martin Bakole definitely needs to secure his resume as like a true guy to either fear or avoid, or a guy you want to test yourself against, you know what I mean? So that being said, it should be an exciting fight. I'm picking Anderson on the cards. Not by a walk away, but maybe 3 rounds, something like that, you know what I mean? So I like Jared Anderson. Like I said, it could be a couple knockdowns. Possibly Anderson could go down, you know what I mean? Not that greatly defensively sound, so he should be a little bit tested in this fight. But again, you know what I mean? I think it will go the distance because both dudes are solid fighters, good boxers. Both of them have solid skills in their own rights. Like I said, Bakole just iron tough. So this could be hard for Anderson to really just dog walk him and mop the ring up with him. You know what I mean? So that being said, man, picking Anderson on the distance. The next fight we're going to break down is going to be Andy Ruiz and Gerald Miller. Interesting fight right here. Why? Andy Ruiz ain't been in the ring in damn near 3 years. Jared Morrell is actually the fresher fighter between the two. Hopefully Morrell is Miller, I'm sorry, I don't know why I called him Morrell. Miller, I apologize. I'm not going to edit this video, so let me clean that name up. This is Gerald Miller, the other big baby, the original big baby. That being said, he's actually the fighter, the fresher fighter between the two guys. So I think he has a chance to have this one go the distance. That's what I don't think Ruiz is clean enough right now. He might be a fresh fighter, but I don't think he's sharp enough to really go in there and get the KO against Big Baby. And again, like I said, Miller is the fresher fighter coming off a loss, but it was a solid loss. You know what I mean? Went in there, he stood up under the pressure. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and just pick that fight to go the distance. I don't know who can win or lose, because it could be a fight Ruiz loses. It's definitely gonna be some upsets on this card. So anticipate them as you're picking the fights for yourself. You know what I mean? And definitely try to weigh what's going on with each fighter and where they at in the stage of their careers and things like that. So, you know what I mean? I know Ruiz is quote unquote the future handbag for the heavyweight division. Obviously, he bringing a whole country with him for support and things like that. So he's the bag, but just because you the bag don't mean you perform under the lights. And it's been a minute since we seen you. So we'll just have to see what we get that night. But I actually think that fight's going to go the distance, because neither one is, like, to me, like the hard puncher. I don't think we're gonna see too much from Ruiz. He not gonna empty the bag that night. This is his first fight back in some time, so his timing gonna be off, things like that. And Miller, you know, Miller's Miller. So if he gets some good rounds in and he pulls it off on the card, so be it. But like I said, I expect this one to go the distance. That's my pick for that fight. Next up, man, we got Pitbull Cruz against Jose Valenzuela. Very exciting fight. Styles make fights. You got a boxer, puncher in Valenzuela, a guy that can use his range and land some stinging, crazy power. But will that power translate to the next division? That's a very big question in this fight. And at the same time, can Cruz get inside that range? Because if you really look at it, Valenzuela has a decent height advantage, and then you add the arm length. Cruz gonna be working hard to get in there. Cruz is definitely gonna be working hard to get in there. But because both these guys got popped, I anticipate this fight not going the distance. Cruz is more defensively sound, so I don't suspect he'll be the one that gets his boots stretched, so to speak. I'm liking Cruz to win by knockout. Gonna be hard, but Valenzuela fights with his chin up, and if Cruz can get one of those overhands in, you know what I mean, or maybe a sneaky uppercut or something like that, it could definitely change the tide and have Cruz hands raised at the end of the night. And that's what I'm anticipating. So that being said, we picking Cruz. Round, let's see, round 7. I like round 7 for Cruz, you know what I mean? Slow Valenzuela down, let him burn out some of them legs where he end up trapped in the corner somewhere and don't even got the wheels to get out of there. So something like that, I'm anticipating a stoppage and a win for Pitbull Cruz. Now let's get to the main event, man. The main event, I spoke on it on Sunday Boxing Talk on Goodfellas Podcast, G5 Jeff TV, the whole crew, Shane, Ty Finney, you know what I mean? I've already got a couple little bets in. I think this fight's going the distance. I actually like Madrigal for the upset on the cards. I really anticipate Madrigal getting his arm raised on the cards. Should be a tight fight. Let's say why I think it's going to be a tight fight, because styles make fights. Madrigal is an in and out type of guy. He's definitely going to make Bud a bit cautious because he's the bigger fighter. I'm not going to say stronger fighter, but should be the stronger fighter based on he's in a bigger weight class. So let's just say that. I don't know that he is a stronger fighter. I'm just saying he should be. So that being said, that's going to make Bud a little bit cautious from just going in there and walking somebody down like he did Spence and getting him up out of there. He absorbed whatever shot Spence threw. This is a 154 dude, and he swings differently. He throws axe-style punches, swings them wide, swings them short and tight, uppercuts. He can box from both sides, foot movement, which should keep the clashes sporadic. Like I don't think we're gonna have that toe-to-toe fight. So it's gonna be more of a boxing boxing match style fight. We're both going to be trying to get off and get out of danger type of thing. So I anticipate Madrigal to get his hand raised, man. I don't know why. I'm just saying. I just you heard it here. I'm picking Madrigal, and it's not because I believe he's a better fighter. I just believe it's maybe something in the air. Boxing needs a little hiccup. Boxing needs a little bit, some controversy, you know what I mean? In the Forrester Caseso situation, not a big enough fight to bring boxing that week after week, people still talking about a controversy. I think this is going to be the fight that people talking about to the end of the year, going into 2025. So that being said, I'm picking Madrigal on the cards by 2 rounds. So there you go. Boxing First Vlog. Ran the card down, gave you some picks, why I picked it, little bit of predictions. Could be, you know, I'm no glass ball rubber or anything like that. So my round picks, I'm definitely going to probably be off on a few of them. I'm never really good at that part of picking these fights like that. But I definitely think I'm on the right side of some of the calls I gave y'all right now. So anyway, man, I appreciate y'all tapping in. Until the next time, man, keep your guard up and stay in the fight. I'm gone.